Hi friends, this is Praveen. Welcome to our channel. In this video, we'll discuss what exactly the banking terms is, and I will also correlate the recently published SBI results with respect to these terms. So let's get into the video. So this is the outlook of SBI, and to be frank to say, the internals of SBI are so strong and they have posted very good results in terms of year on year as well as quarter on quarter, and that too in this pandemic time. So let's get more into these terms. So this is NPA ratios. We'll discuss later. So the main important term for the bank is NII, which is nothing but net interest income. It is a major source of income for the bank. What exactly net interest income? Net interest income is nothing but interest revenue minus interest expense. Fine. So what exactly this interest revenue? Interest revenue is nothing but bank is getting revenue in the form of interest. When will bank get the interest? When they give personal loan, when they give car loan, home loan, etc., they will in turn receive interest. So that is nothing but interest revenue. And when bank will pay interest? Fine. Bank will pay interest when a customer deposited in the bank in the form of fixed deposit, term deposit, etc. At that time, bank will pay interest. So if we net off the two, like interest revenue minus interest expense, that we call as net interest income. So how we should see in terms of bank? The higher the net interest income, the higher is the strength of bank. Now let's see what exactly SBI posted NII. If you see NII figure of SBI, this is 88,000 crores in financial year 19 and 98,000 crores in financial year 20, and recently published this figure 1,10,710 crores, which is extraordinary figure in this pandemic time. So the net interest income is gradually increasing year on year, and as we see here 13% increase in NII, which is really a strong number in these pandemic times. So that we call as a one boost up for SBI, and this is what exactly NII is about. And the next term is CASA ratio, where we frequently use words in terms of bank. What exactly the CASA? CASA. It stands for current account plus savings account. So we call as CASA. So what exactly is? As we know, current account is for business transactions, and bank will not pay any amount if you have any amount in current account, and but bank will pay some amount in the form of interest if you have any amount in savings account. So in short to say, no interest paid on current account and small interest paid on savings account. So now if bank having current accounts, like if bank is having more current accounts, so there is no need to pay interest. So the higher the CASA ratio, the higher is good for bank. Let's see what CASA ratio for SBI. See here you can see the CASA ratio is 45% in previous year, that is March 2020, and in current year it increased by 1%, that is 46% in March 2021. Here you can see current account is 6.96 and 7.75, savings accounts is 38%, and that increased to 38.38, term deposit, which is also nothing but a current accounts, so 54% and this 53%. So this is all about current CASA ratio, and you can see this 68% of new savings accounts opened through YONO. As you know, YONO banking, which is an additional feature introduced by SBI. So in this pandemic situation too, they have opened 68% of new accounts through YONO. So here you can see rest of all, like the CASA deposits total is 16% increase. Like current accounts previously it is 2 lakhs and now it having 2 lakhs 76 like deposit amount, in which is nothing but in crores. So that increased in 27%, and savings is increased only 14%, which is strength to bank, because the more the current accounts, they will not pay interest on current accounts, so which is a positive for banks. So this is all a CASA, and this is also a boost up for SBI. And the next term is NPA, so which is a backbone for most of the banks. So let's get into this NPA. What exactly NPA is? NPA stands for non-performing assets. The name itself saying that asset is not performing, so that is a negative for banks. Let's dig more into this. an asset become non-performing when it stops to generate income for bank. Okay, let's I will discuss more by giving an example. So let's see this example. Company XYZ has taken a loan. Like suppose to say I am a company and I taken a loan of 100 millions from SBI. Let's suppose Sync. So what I used to say, I need to pay 10,000 per month for 5 years. Monthly I should pay 10,000 for 5 years. Fine. So every month my due is 10,000 as an interest. So now what I have done? I have defaulted the payment. Like I have not paid for 90 days. So which is nothing but consecutive, like continuous 3 months I have not paid. Fine. Then what bank should do? Because banks is losing the interest monthly. So what bank should do is the asset, like the loan amount, like 100 millions, they should classify that loan as a non-performing asset, because as per the definition of non-performing assets, a loan or advance for which the principal or interest payment, like principal or EMI amount or interest amount or principal amount, whatever the case, if the customer is not paying for a continuous period of 90 days, which is overdue, like it is due for payment but still they are not paying, that is for continuous 90 days, then we treat as NPA. You can see the example also, which is clearly self-explanatory. So this is nothing but NPA, which is a negative for banks. So that's the reason I have mentioned the cautious symbol too. Fine. So this is structure of loan. I will explain you. Assets of banks is nothing but loan. Whatever the car loans, home loans, term loans, whatever the bank issues, that is an asset for bank. Okay. And the asset, there are two types of asset. One is standard asset and the other time is non-performing assets. Standard is nothing but good assets, like there is no defaults, etc. But in standard assets also, we should classify two types, like one is regular without any delay, like we are getting, like bank is getting interest and principal in time, so that is called as a regular standard asset. And there is another asset called stress standard asset, so which we call as SMA1, SMA2, SMA0. SMA is nothing but stressed assets. So SMA0 is nothing but which is overdue for 0 to 30 days, and if overdue is 31 to 60 days, it is called SMA1 category, and 61 to 90 days it is called SMA2. After 90 days, as we see, it is called as NPA, non-performing assets. So this is also major factor for banking sector. So the NPA is nothing but, after NPA we should treat it as substandard asset if it is 12 months, and we should treat as doubtful assets if it is greater than 12 months, and if you should treat as loss asset which is not recoverable at all. So this is nothing but NPA and gross NPA and net NPA. We'll talk about gross NPA. What exactly the gross NPA? Gross NPA is nothing but it is a total loans on which payment has been paid, not paid for less than 90 days. So this is nothing but gross NPA. Gross NPA usually bank should disclose on each and every quarterly results, and it is nothing but how much the NPA by total loans. We will come to know what exactly the percentage of gross NPA out of total loans. And net NPA is nothing but gross NPA minus provisions creation, or if they sell off that asset, what is the write-off amount, etc. So if you see the SBI scorecard, the net NPA is 1.5% down. So the NPAs are down, which is a major strength for bank. NPA is a negative. If the negative is decreasing, it will turn the positive to banks. So NPA 1.5% down and gross NPA 5% almost down. So which is very good for banks. So this is a boost up for SBI. Here you can see NPA figures are gradually decreasing. 47, 42 and 36,000 crores. So which is very good for banking, especially the SBI. So next is slippages, where we frequently listen words slippages. What exactly the slippages is? Slippages denotes the fresh amount of loans that have turned bad. So in this current year, what accounts are turned bad? Bad is nothing but NPA. How many accounts are turned to NPA? So this is also very bad for banks. So the lower the slippages, the more strength for banks. So slippage ratio is fresh accretion of NPA. How many NPAs, non-performing assets in this current year to total number of assets. So for SBI, the slippages are very less. Previously 3%, there are slippages like fresh slippages, and now is only 1.2%, which is very good for SBI. So this is all about slippages. And next last term, provision coverage ratio. The name itself saying how much you are covering your risk with respect to the provision. Like you should create a provision with respect to the NPA amount. So this is, you can see the ratio of provisioning to NPA. The ideal, like supposed to say the PCR formula is total provision, how much you are creating with respect to total NPA, like how much you are having NPA and how much you are creating provision. Like supposed to say 90%, like in the sense out of 100 rupees of NPA they are already creating 90% as a provision. Like they are, what I can say, they are ready for loss, and they also created that in the books of accounts. They are already provided that amount in the books of accounts 90%. Only 10% they have not covered. So let's see how much the provision for SBI. You can see here 86%, sorry, 87% they are providing provisions, which is really good for SBI. So this is one of the boost up. So they are covering almost every NPA with respect to the provision. So this is all about banking. Let's quickly recap a checklist for banking to see. One is management, that is very main, as we seen as bank and PNB etc. The frauds involving. So the good the management, the better for banks. And gross NPA and net NPA and PCR, provision coverage ratio. And next is slippages. We should look over slippages also. And next SME big, as we seen before getting into NPA, they are classified as SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. And next is quality of loans, like what exact the percentage of NPA and the percentage of slippages etc. So the loan book should be a more quality one. So this is all about the banking terms. Hope you understand, and thanks for watching. Please do share your feedback in terms of comments, or you can mail to us, or you can reach through WhatsApp, anything else. But we tried our level best to express our knowledge in terms of banking sector. Thanks friends.